There it is right there. Are all the delays at 1122 King Road because of this? Man, if you didn't see it, think about the internship program at WSU, right? What are they doing? They hire the students to self-surveil. Think about it. So maybe the university hires Sigma Chi members that are first responders to handle calls. This afternoon, I came across this one video. This one video here, and it's like, what? Huh? Wait, what? Huh? What? All right. But I got to show you guys this real quick. This is very interesting because we've been talking a lot about the coroner, when the coroner's supposed to be there, what the responsibilities of the coroner are. Why wasn't the coroner why is the coroner not showing up until 5:30, having to wait until the officers do their investigation, this and this, that and that. And I was like, well, how in the hell did you pronounce the time of death if you didn't show up until 5:30? How in the hell is the death pronounced at noon? And this goes into the highlight video that I made right before the show. Good vibes, ticket 35. Thank you. This goes with the why I started my intro the way that I did. This is not conspiracy. This is real questions. When I come across this awards video, as I'm not even looking for Sigma Chi shit. Rewind. What is this? What the hell is this? And then I started thinking, oh, whoa, hold on a minute. Is this the reason for the delays? We've already went into the plan of action a long time ago. We discussed the hierarchy and how things get processed and move along, right? So then I'm starting to think, well, shit, if WSU offers students a program where they self-surveil their campus for their own safety, maybe with all of the bad rug stuff, maybe that university, Idaho, hey, guess what? We need some of you frat boys or sorority girls that are paramedics or that are, internship. It'll go to 911. The calls will get dispatched to the interns, specifically the interns that deal with whatever happened at that location for that fraternity or sorority. Is that the reason? Because we don't understand the delay, never understood any of the delays, whether it was the delay from when the crime took place, whether it was the delay from when 911 was called, or whether it was the delay when MPD showed up. The delay with the coroner, that's another thing. I'm talking MPD. Are all of those delays because of something like this, some kind of internship program? So I'm going to play this video here real quick. Again, how in the hell are you pronouncing the death at 12 noon for all of these beautiful souls if you didn't even show up until 5:30? Yo, just saying. All right, here's this video. So check this out, everybody. They're going through their challenges, their obstacles, all of this important stuff. Introducing the old, introducing the new counselor, all of these different things.
Over 1,200 people participated in this 83rd Grand Chapter.
Watch.
Outside of the 150th celebration in 2005, this is by far the largest gathering in modern Sigma Chi history.
And I said, what the hell is this? I looked up from my notes and I said, what the heck? Hold on, rewind, pause. What? What the hell did I just see? Isn't this crazy? Everybody, look at this. We commissioned 2 recognition pins for pandemic responders and first responders. Internship? Delay? Do you understand where I'm coming from? Yeah. Crazy shit. So it's like, hold on. We already talked about Sigma Chi having a plan of action. We went through the whole hierarchy and we went through the steps and the process. And, if this happens, when it comes to passings, if this happens and it's here or it's here and this and that, and you got to do this and we have to do this and this and this. And it's like, whoa, wait a minute. Did 911 get called? And then because it was, even though it's not on university property, they always talk about it as it is. It's a Sigma Chi, right? Right by Sigma Chi, just a couple blocks away. Therefore, Sigma Chi is responsible for that neighborhood, right? If it was some kind of we showed the program. We had the chief of police, Washington State University, the chief of police. They were talking about, we went through the whole thing and how it was a program that they came up with. We read the articles and how it was created, remember, because the spike in crimes, especially assaults on the campus of Washington State University, jumped up 40% in 1 year. And that's why they came up with this internship. And the reason that it's an internship is because the chief of police didn't want to use his own force to do the surveilling. We'll go ahead and set it up. We'll go ahead and collect. We'll go ahead and do these things, but it's up to the students to do the work, right? It's up to the students to collect the information. We'll take the information once it's collected, but it's up to the students to collect it, right? And so that's the internship that we're talking about with WSU. So, like, I had the delays in my head. I had first responders. I had, all of this stuff, right? And when I look up and I see this, and I go, whoa, 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 whoa. I think WSU internship program. I think delays at the property. I think Sigma Chi fight. I think Sigma Chi 2 blocks away. I think all of these different things. And I'm going, hold on, shit. What, huh? Could this be some kind of internship? As much as we all talk about how the frats and sororities are, in tow with the President Green, right? Whenever you get a call from 10 p.m. until 6 a.m., it needs to go to the interns, right? It needs to go to the interns. 911 call still goes to the call center. 911 dispatches to The intern. Plausible deniability. Oh, we didn't know. We didn't know that. Why did the delay take so long? I don't know. Ask them. I don't know. Plausible deniability. I don't know. We're gonna be looking more into it. Trust me. Community companionship awards between the fucking police and the fucking frats. I mean, just wait. Just wait. I'm gonna show you guys that too. It's fucking crazy. They're linked, man. They're so linked. That's why. Why do you think the university was in all the meetings and all the press conferences and all this? Because they're linked. They're linked. Crazy shit. Where is that? Why there was a delay? First responders from Sigma Chi responding to the neighborhood for a dispatch call because we are interns helping the city of Moscow because we got these awards that we have together. So when it comes to Sigma Chi, look at this. They got partnership awards. Excellence in community involvement. Community Partner of the Year, Campus Partner of the Year, University Staff Community Partner of the Year, and who's first responders? Who in Sigma Chi was going to school or was already a first responder, a volunteer, internship? You know, the crazy thing about criminals, especially if they do it to people they know, when it comes to criminal activity, most of the time criminal activity inside your home comes from somebody that you know most of the time. What do those people do when criminal activity takes place? Most of those people will show up back at the crime and go, "Oh my gosh, what happened? Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Oh my gosh, we're gonna help you find whoever did this. We're gonna help you find whoever did this." They show up to pretend like they didn't know what happened, and they show up to pretend to help find whoever committed this crime so you don't think it's them. And I'm like, whoa, it's kind of like how I look at the PCA when it comes to just how it looks and the wording of things, and you hear all this stuff about like the university sending teams out there and all that.
And by the way, good catch on that first responders thing. I think, I don't think anybody else, I'd never seen that before. That's a good catch.
Either. Thank you. I appreciate that. I didn't either. I was just like looking for something else, and I came across it and just clicked on it because I was in between my notes and stuff, and I just saw that, and I just was like, wait a minute, like that's because why else? I still don't understand the delays, and like we tried to a long time ago, we discussed the delay from when students supposedly were showing up with the chatter and all that to when 911 was called, and it's like, okay, plan of action. They gotta, when there's a death, they need to do this, and they got a protocol and all this. And so then when I seen that, I was like, oh shit, maybe that's the reason for the delay as well. Sigma Chi has first responders. Sigma Chi first responders show up. Shit, everybody, we need to like plan of action. and it might take a little while for that plan of action as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they didn't show up, because maybe they responded to the call, but because they're interns, maybe because they didn't close it out or something over the radio, that just wasn't even, oh, it was just an unconscious person, they just probably
Mm-hmm.
forgot to let us know.
Mm-hmm.
It probably had, I don't know, it just made me think, like, man, I bet you, because with all the issues they have with rugs around there, and
Mm-hmm.
with how the no reports, and how they want to make sure that there's nothing, like, to shine a bad light, because they like that FBI training program collaboration that they send all their officers to,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't want to, scuff that image. And so it's like, just like the no reports, let's keep the bad calls at a minimum so we can keep the money at a maximum.
Mm-hmm.
And so why don't we have, hey, yeah, let's play it off like it's a internship program, and the students are taking control, but deep in the boardroom, Mr. Green's like, yes, this is a great way where we don't have to know or answer for anything because they're handling it themselves. Hey guys, Susie just passed out from this and we had to give her Narcan. Let's just say that she just fell asleep because of heat exhaustion, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Bam, there's your correction for a bad event taking place, and it doesn't make your university look bad at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's possible. And because it was an unconscious person, reportedly, then you would think that that would fall under that. So I say good catch on that, because that is a high possibility. And I don't think any of us ever considered anything like this, to be honest,
I didn't
because
either
it's so
until
far fetched. Like, what the hell?
I didn't either until everything, like, when I seen it, and then, like I said, it's like all these tiles,
Mm-hmm.
and all of a sudden it was like WSU internship,
Yeah.
Sigma Chi plan of action,
Well, there it
you
was
know,
in black and white.
awards, like all these things started popping up, and I'm like, whoa, hold on a minute. Plausible deniability again.
Mm,
Hey, you guys handle it, you know, nothing, especially if they're trying to keep it under wraps. No reports means no paperwork. You don't want paperwork to be involved with that kind of thing if you want to try and keep it on the down low and you want plausible deniability. So what you're going to do is, you could, as the president, right, you're so down with all the frats and sororities, you're like, they're, you're Papa Green, you
mm-hmm.
know you're Papa Green. So why wouldn't Papa Green hold a meeting with all of the frat and sorority leaders, some kind of conference or something, where maybe they're having some kind of a ceremony or whatever about something. And he's like, all right, look, now, this is what we're going to do. This is between us alum,
Mm-hmm.
let's just keep it between us or whatever. It could be even something like that. I don't know. I just wonder, like, who you look at these awards too, the awards that they have together: University of Idaho Education, Student Life, Greek awards recognition, and you can see the awards that they collab with the fire department and the police department. And so there's, with how everything is so intertwined over there, why wouldn't that be intertwined as well? Because, I can't imagine you have this humongous EMS force in Moscow, right? And if you're having that many issues and you only have a couple ambulances, well, wouldn't it, just like WSU self-surveilling their campus for their own safety because of an uptick in assaults? Well, then if there's an uptick in rug activity and you don't want reports taken, because if you have uh who's going to benefit? Is the EMS worker that works for Moscow, are they going to benefit from bullshitting on a report? No, they'll lose their job. But when it comes to their own members, they're going to want to be the ones that are going to toe that line when it comes to the truth and what they don't want out about their members. So they're
Yeah.
going to have that reason to keep it quiet. And so therefore I thought it would be like a perfect, opportunity for both the university. Hey, you handle it's internship, you handle the calls in your quote zone, and they're gonna but they're gonna want to be the ones to lie about the truth, and that's what Green wants. He wants people that uh don't want to tell the truth about shit.
And to be honest, it's an easy sell. I think that's an easy sell to like anybody. Like, yeah, we have this program going on, and they
Mm-hmm.
carry Narcan, and just in case for emergency situations, they help out with first aid. I mean, it's an easy sell, and
Right.
it does make sense. I have to say, like to do that, to have them carry that,
Saves them
and
money.
yeah.
It saves them money.
My question in this, though, in this particular case is, remember we heard that EMT was not let into the
Mhm.
house. And was that by the cops?
Well, I think that had to be by the students.
Well, that's what I'm wondering is like, do they have authority to not let them in the house?
Gosh, that'd be interesting to know who of the EMT was there that
Yeah.
said they couldn't go inside, because I don't know. I just think like EMT, if they were showing up, I don't know how you don't go inside, especially if you have a bunch of people there, because they know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, uh, it was unconscious. I could imagine somebody had to have been passed out on that back parking lot from going inside and experiencing that
Seen.
scent
Yeah. Yeah.
or scene.
Yeah.
I could see, and then like that's where they're running to because they're just called for an unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
But then what's weird is I've always heard that MPD wasn't there until 4, but then you see reports in timelines on how they were there at noon, and the next half an hour more officers were coming through.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like what is real? What is real? Are is were these really emergency EMS workers that weren't going to the university and weren't part of this?
In terms of the crime scene, I mean, you started reporting on this case very early on because you're local. What had I mean, we we know that it was gruesome. I mean, it was a stabbing of 4 young people. What have you heard?
Well, when it initially happened, we didn't know what had occurred at that house. We thought maybe it was carbon monoxide poisoning, or nobody really fathomed that this had happened until some details came out. And I know that from what I've heard, that it was a very traumatic scene for first responders. They'd never seen anything like that.
See, they went inside.
Nope, they did not. According to
Somebody,
the first responders,
somebody.
they wouldn't let them in.
Internship.
Those first responders, yes. Okay. Then I
Internship.
take that back. I take that back. Those first responders were in there, yes.
Yes, and who was it traumatic for, everybody? The students, right?
Yeah.
Poisoning, or nobody really fathomed that this had happened until some details came out. And I know that from what I've heard, that it was a very traumatic scene for first responders. They'd never seen anything like that in their lives.
Yeah, we've reported and heard from, young officers on the Moscow police force who were among the first to get to the scene.
Yeah, see, they
And,
didn't talk to the EMTs.
See?
Yeah, that was,
See?
she messed up there because the EMT, like the real EMT, they were not let in there.
Real.
And I mean, I'll have to look it up.
No, you're
Yeah.
right. No, you're right. That's
Yeah.
what that's why I'm trying to refer to it as like an internship,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
even though we're still digging, because this is something that just, like I said, I was doing my notes, and then this popped up, and I'm like, whoa, we gotta dig into this.
Mm.
So we're just getting into that part, but this, I don't mean when I'm saying people, I mean like the internship. So yeah, it is weird, isn't it? How you hear just like other reports, just like Brian Enton saying, yeah, they showed up, just with the response. Wait a minute, what?
I think
So
he reacted too. Like he's heard that EMT was not let in there, and
right.
that's why he's saying we talked to those first police officers on the
Mhm.
scene.
We need to figure this out right now. Like, what the hell? Why are you saying people showed up? Why are you saying that the crime scene, you got Mabbott saying what she said last night, but yet they don't know? It's like, why is there all these contradictions? Why is there all these questions?
Yeah, and
But
how
then,
could she pronounce them dead at noon when she
right,
wasn't
just
there?
like how I
That
started off the show. How do you pronounce it? That would be the internship having to say that or something.
yeah, it's crazy. Like she signed off on it. It's
Yeah,
probably going to come bite her in the butt.
it's got to.
In the butt.
How do you put 12 p.m. Student resident firefighter program? The application period for our 2024 2025 academic year is open. Our mandatory in-person testing and interviews will be held Saturday, March 23rd, 2024 in Moscow, Idaho. Please submit your application by March 10th.
There you go.
Hello.
There you go.
Hello.
So
Oh boy. Are we on? Dude, is this why there was the fucking delays?
what are you talking about? Oh, you mean the
Because
yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry.
is
Yes.
this why there was
Yeah.
the delays? Man, wouldn't that be crazy?
Mm-hmm. And how do they explain it?
Yeah. How do you
How do you
explain
explain
it?
that? Exactly. Like if you told people like, okay, we got interns that went there as first responders to a quadruple homicide, people would flip out. Like that would be no, you can't do that. I mean,
Why not?
if you no no
Why
no,
not?
if you heard that, come on, you would be like, this is insane. Not only is it like it took place in the middle of the night, and they didn't call the 911 until noon, and then on top of that, you have students that go there as first responders, interns.
Yep.
Come on now. That would have been. I think the world would have flipped out over that.
Maybe that's why we don't know about it yet
Yeah.
until I fucking came across it and I was like, wait a minute.
They should have nothing to do with that crime scene. Like that. No. But they did. Like people stepped all over it. So there you go.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I mean, if you stepped into something here, CJ, I think yeah, this can be quite big. Like this can be an issue. And so, I mean, I'm sure Ann Taylor knows about it by now. She has a team behind her. She should know things like this.
Training records too. I mean, you
Uh-huh.
want to contamination.
Uh-huh. Well, I mean, we know that the crime scene is going to pose issues as far
Yeah.
as contamination. We knew that. Well, then this adds another layer to it, obviously. Obviously. Yeah, they're going to have issues with that for sure.
You see the awards that they have together. You got, I mean, hell, you got to have your application in 8 days, people. 8 days. Dude, what if they were what would those interns / volunteers, what would be the excuse not to have MPD show up at, because I got reports showing noon and within a half an hour they're coming in, but we've all heard 4, right? 4 o'clock.
For Mabut, yeah, but the
She
police
was
was there earlier.
5:30. Yeah, she was
Yeah.
5:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they were first responders by that sense, but It shouldn't be. It should be,
No,
of course.
it's EMS.
Yeah. Did I
Those are the
say?
first
Did I
response.
call them EMT? I'm sorry.
I probably did too. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean
They're-
EMS. Yeah, of course.
But they are the first responders. It's you know, you that's what they are. They're when you look at the awards, I mean, hell, look at the let me see if I can pull it back up. Look at this little pin that they have for the award itself. It's a first responder award, and then look what the symbol is. It's the symbol for EMS. Hold on. This right here. It's the symbol for EMS. The
Yeah.
first responder. And then they're all tied in, connected together. Why would Sigma Chi? You know, I didn't even bother to look up the other ones. I just seen that and I was like, holy shit, I have a show to do anyway. We're gonna dig more into it. You know, as the days come, we're gonna be digging more into it and seeing if there is anything to this, whether it's something like an agreement that's not on a written document, because really, if you're no report Moscow, why would you want a document where there's an agreement in the first place? If you're trying to have plausible deniability and you don't even want to know about the OD, you know, just we don't want to know about the OD because it looks bad for our campus. Let's just carbon monoxide, you know,
Or drowned in a puddle.
let's downplay it. And also, yeah, I wanted to share this again too. How, you know, like this is what I started off the show with. And this was how in the hell is the coroner pronouncing the date of death at noon if she wasn't there till 5:30?
I don't know how she's gonna have to how she's gonna explain that if she's asked on the stand on such and such date you pronounced them dead at 12 noon. Is that right?
Uh-huh.
So were you there? You were there at the scene. You saw and pronounced them. No, because she wasn't. It's just gonna be bad.
It's not going to be good, especially like little things like this, you know, just a document.
It has to be. They're gonna question her about what she did to pronounce the death, and the best I can think she'll say is that I was informed of the conditions and I pronounced death even though I wasn't there.
Right.
That's
And
the
that's
best way to. I shouldn't even be talking. Maybe.
and no, it's true. That's the only way. That's what we brought up. Me and Golf were talking about it too. Is what we said too. Like, and that's what I'm going back to this internship / volunteer. Like, they were probably the ones that said, "Yeah, Kathy." That when we showed up, it was obvious.
I don't see how she would get away with it though.
Oh, you'd be
Because
amazed.
they pat each other's back.
Yeah.
This is
I know.
the volunteer fire department student resident firefighter. Jeez, this is really existing, people.
So they can go to
What
be
the
first responders and then cover up for their friends. I'm not saying that they would do that, but that's
No, I mean, hello, who has the invested interest to do that?
yeah, exactly.
And who would want the invested interest to do that without them having their hands get dirty? Hello. What it saves the community money. They're interns, they're volunteers. They don't get paid. It's for their experience. They deserve it. You know, like, whoa.
I mean, they're and these kids are doing a good job because
Yeah,
they're
not
helping. It's not like, but in this situation, yeah, if it was handled like that in this situation, I
Oh
think
my God,
Houston.
2,800.
dude.
we have a problem.
100 volunteers. Oh my gosh, people, this shit is really unfolding before our eyes. Oh my gosh. MVFD has 100 volunteers serving as firefighters and or EMTs and paramedics. There are 24 student resident volunteer positions and many student and community volunteers. There are 7 career City of Moscow administrative and command staff to help support the volunteers. Each has housing for student residents at the fire stations. Yo! I think we just broke something open.
Definitely.
I think we just broke something open.
Well, you did.
We all did. I mean, I was doing my notes and I saw the video and I was like, holy shit, people. And all of this other stuff is from the community. So we all did it. Holy shit.
Well, CJ and community, pat your back on this one, because this is pretty substantial.
So the interns could have even been at the housing. Because when would you have interns working, right? The shift nobody wants to work most of the time. The night shift and the overnight shift, right? Because most of them probably have families and children and
Sunday.
and they wanna and that too also a Saturday night Sunday. Why don't we let Bob and Ann get to hang out with their children on a Saturday night, and we'll have the interns, hey, it's the students on a Saturday night anyway. Why don't we let that? Oh man, this is crazy. I think this is why there was all those delays. Provides emergency services to the citizens of Moscow, Idaho. Yo, look at this right here. Oh my gosh, look at the shift, people. On the weekends, 7:30 at night until 7:30 in the morning. Right there. That so Bob and Ann can hang out with their children on a Saturday night. Right there. Whoa. I'm going to keep going. Must be 18 years of age.
High school graduate.
And this is what they're getting. Yeah, March 10th. Attend in person 23rd. This is the application. Oh my gosh.
And this program was in effect in 2022?
It's in effect right now. Yeah, it has to be. Because when I went over this video right here, these are awards from 2021.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, these are awards from 2021. It wasn't even anything I was looking up. It just came populated with, the suggested or whatever. And I was just like, oh, let me click. I didn't even see this. I saw it was, it's called Celebrating 2021. And I was like, fuck it, I'll try it out. I'm taking notes. I'm just going through my notes anyway. And then I heard like a couple booms and I'd look up and then I just happened to look up right here. And then it went away and I was like, holy shit, pause, rewind. And then I'm looking at it, I'm going, and then all of that stuff just started coming to me like, yo.
They're going to make it very hard. If somebody wanted to sue, let's say they were the first responders, it's going to make it very hard for the family to try to sue the city of Moscow and the PD if students were first responders.
They're going to have to sue the fire department.
Well, no, they
really?
they did, they can sue the city though.
Yeah, the city covers that.
Yeah. So they I think the way they did it, didn't they do it so they could sue the city as well?
The only claim that I saw was for the city, the mosque.
Yeah. So that's probably what they had in mind then.
Yeah. Wow.
Typically, Unique asked what I was about to ask. What does it say about supervision? Are Bob and Ann on call at least? At home?
Well, here's the thing. If you had, I would. Okay, this is what I would think. And here's the link to the document. We'll go back to the document. I would think that they would be on call for guidance. Hey, Bob, yeah, we got this situation here, because they're interns, they're volunteers. We got this situation here. This person, what would you typically do in this situation? And this is the first time we've came across it, Bob. Well, Jim, you want to make sure you do this, and then you make sure you do this and this. Okay, thank you, Bob. Appreciate it. Yeah, no problem. And then he gets back to watching the movie at the movie theater, eating the popcorn. Now, if it's something that's like crazy wild, I could see him coming out there to lead the volunteers or whoever might be on call to lead the volunteers. But the whole point, I think, of that internship program when it comes to the time, 7:30 p.m. to 7:30 a.m., I think that's so that way they can, they're the experienced ones during the day that handle most of the car accidents and the heart attacks and all this stuff. But then when it comes to the nighttime, that's when a lot of the nightlife is the ones that are calling most of the time. And so therefore and plus you want to spend Saturday nights and Sundays with your family or whatever. So I could see if they did walk into that, we don't know what to do. And also, like also, man, shit, what if it was one of their own, or what if it was, because everybody knew at Sigma Chi there was a fight the night before about somebody taking roids and having tiny berries. And so, you put two and two together. And it's like, shit, guys, fuck, we need to have this plan of action. We need to find out, like, yo, does any of us know what happened first? That way we're not implicated. I don't know. This is just, it's just crazy. Let me read here. They respond to 2,800 fire and EMS calls a year. Let me see. Volunteers, 24 student resident volunteer positions. 25,000 residents along with 10,000 university students. 3 fire stations that have student housing. Benefits, housing provided in college dorms at fire stations. Meets University of Idaho freshman on-campus housing requirement. Provide emergency services, academy, training academy, driver operator cover shift every 5 days, 24 hours during the weekends, and on the weekdays it's 4:30 in the afternoon until 7:30 in the morning. Whoa, it's a lot more than I thought. Resident are relieved of duties during school breaks. So during school breaks, that's when the main people probably have their, where they're working 2 weeks in a row or some shit because they're used to having a normal schedule.
Now, just to add to this, it is normal, like in smaller communities, they do have volunteer firefighters.
Yeah.
I don't know about volunteer EMS, but they do have volunteer firefighters. So, but I've never heard of EMS.
Working with a university like this, that's
Yeah.
what I've heard. A lot of these small cases, they're all, a lot of these counties, they're a volunteer for this county and then they're a volunteer for that county, and they all kind of are like that. But I've never heard anything where a university is involved in that, because usually when it's a university, they don't have those really teeny counties that have to work with each other because they don't have the population to have a force.
Mhm.
But you would think in Moscow, if you have that many people living there, you would already have uh, enough to handle that. It's man, that's crazy. Yeah, 12-hour shifts on a Sunday or in weekends. They
So
got
do they,
housing at the station. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Do they have training? I mean, they have
Yeah,
to get training, right?
yeah, they have training up here. It says they
Oh,
they have to go through a certain thing when they apply, coming up on the 30th, rookie training camp academy. Then they have to complete the fire academy, complete the driver operator training, and then after that they're good. So they have to pass the form, the application. Then they have like a general, can you make it through this kind of thing before you even get to go to a rookie training academy.
Okay, well, at least they have something.
Yeah, you do it. Yeah, do that, and then that it's for the upcoming year. That's why you're applying in the spring, so you start
Right,
in fall.
right.
Gosh, I wish the media would have picked up on this and interviewed about this.
Yeah, because first responders can be first responders, but there's also these types of first responders.
Yeah.
So it's like,
And that makes the 8-hour delay make sense to me.
it is one possible explanation.
Well, then why did we hear about first responders not being let in to the house? I just don't get that. Like, was there two different first responders sent out there?
Well, okay. So remember the report says that MPD showed up like this, what Brian Enton said. MPD showed up right after, right?
Yeah.
Minutes after. What about this? What if those interns, first responders, volunteers showed up? There were the reason for the delay. And then they're the ones that called Bob and said, Bob, 4 hours later,
Uh-huh.
Bob, hey. And then the real EMS or the EMS and the real MPD showed up at the same time. And that's why they didn't let him in, because they already knew, because Bob was on call, and Bob that was on call contacted the real EMS or whoever was on call to show up to handle it the the leader way or whatever. And then the MPD shows up, they already know what's inside because they heard at the same time as the higher up EMTs. And so that's why they got there and they said, no, don't go in there. We already know what's in there. We know what's in there. You don't need to go in there. Handle these people outside. Let us in.
And that could account for all these texts and Snapchats going around early in the morning, because if some of them were part of this program, they would have been communicating. Yeah, it would be an interesting request, yes, to get a list of who was in that program at that time and who was
and were they one of the people that fucking was in the fight that night?
Yeah, because you could do a FOIA request, a Freedom of Information Request Act for that.
Can you really? For this?
What about this?
Huh.
I mean, think about this. What if the person, what better place to put your DNA at a crime scene? What if you were one of these volunteers? And what if you did show up when you were already there committing the crime later on? You show up and your DNA is there, and there's a reason why your footprints are there, because you were a freaking volunteer.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
It's like
When
what I
the-
was talking about earlier about how if you're committing a crime and you show up saying, "Oh yeah, let me help," because you want. It's the same thing. What if you you knew you were working that late shift? You knew you were working overnight Sunday through the morning at 7:30 in the morning. What better way to put your DNA there and not have it be part of the crime scene than to be an actual volunteer that shows up and already puts their DNA all over the place, and so you don't get looked at. You get crossed out. You don't get included because that's what they do when they go there. They collect all the DNA. They collect the DNA from all the people that were at the scene so they can exclude them from all the DNA that they collect at the crime scene. So if you're one of the volunteers, your DNA gets excluded.
God, wouldn't that be something? Oh my God.
Well, okay, so you can do a FOIA request
Well,
for
I mean, you
who
can do a FOIA request for anything. The worst they can do is just deny it.
deny it. Yeah.
So why did it take them 4 hours? This says reported 11:56. They showed up at 11:58. And it states right here, officers in EMS responded. And then the next call is 4 o'clock. Suspicious person, Moscow. No address. No report. Report a possible drug dealing. Officer made no contact. Officer made contact. No report. I don't know, man. It sounds to me like there really is, with all the stuff that we kind of went through tonight, it really seems to me like there's a reason for the delay, and it's because volunteers and they had an invested interest on not having the truth. Just too many contradictions with what they say and what's being said, what's being reported, the times it's being reported, the types,
Yeah, and it provides a layer in between, the police, like there's a buffer.
Yeah.
And
Plausible.
yeah, a buffer, a way to get out, in terms of like if there's any litigation. I mean, they don't get out, but there's an explanation at least, like
Yeah. So they don't have to pay money, like plausible deniability. We didn't know. We were doing a good thing.
I can't believe this.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It is.
Then the stuff that the programs and stuff. I mean, this isn't going to be, this highlight just, I came across it and I was like, holy shit. It was just an idea. Now, as we got into the show tonight, shout out to the community because who knew? And I'm sure as we dig more stuff into it, there's going to be even more stuff that we kind of go through and we're going to show you. But it really makes me wonder, is this the reason why we never understood the delays the whole time? Is because they don't even talk. You even go to the article where the frat finally, talks, but all they're saying is, hey, we don't have we don't have the investigative whatever. We're leaving it up to them. We answered all their questions, and then there's nothing that we can say, so they don't want to say nothing either.
No, and wow.
It's the only thing that makes sense for the delays, because why would LE, why would they have some, EMS show up at noon and then they're not showing up till 4 or whatever? It's like, well, then you're just showing a complete lack of incompetence.
I thought that some patrol cops showed up along with the first responders with the EMS.
Yeah, that's what they say. But if you go by the first responders that they're going by, it's not, because those first responders weren't allowed into the crime scene.
Right.
So
The real first responders.
yeah, the real first responders, the interns slash
Yes.
volunteers, you know.
God.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep. Because then they
It
showed
makes,
up and like, shit, we need to have a plan of action.
it
We
makes
gotta.
sense.
I don't know. It just makes sense.
It does. It's a lot
It
of sense.
does.
And their whole procedures about checking things, about the plan, and they're the first, they can act as first responders. I mean, geez,
Mm-hmm. And they got the invested interest to
it's a scam.
not let the truth get out there. And then you think about it like this, like university. So with the University of Phoenix, Idaho deal, and University of Phoenix Online and Idaho deal, when it comes to the secrecy, okay, they talk about the non-disclosure agreement that they had. And when you hear the University of Phoenix Online talk about the non-disclosure, well, it's because the University of Idaho wanted the non-disclosure. You hear from the University of Idaho about the non-disclosure. The University of Idaho says it's the University of Phoenix that wants the non-disclosure. It's the same thing. We can pass the buck on somebody else that can then pass the buck on somebody else. That buck goes back to the first person you passed it on, and then they repeat the same process over and over, so nobody has to answer a damn thing, and everybody has plausible deniability.
Sounds like the gag order.
It's crazy. I think we just uncovered something together today.
Wow.